We're here in Toronto, and I'm backstage with a victorious Cub Swanson, who just had one of the most epic fights in UFC history with the Korean Superboy. He had a lot of hype going into this fight. Were you surprised that people knew so much about him and were kind of rooting for him like that?
People are the 145-pound division has had the same guys at the top for a long time. So I'm not surprised that some of the guys that are coming up and looking good, people are just excited to see fresh meat in there. And, I knew he was going to be a great fighter, but I just felt like he was underestimating me. And I was that he called me out of all 15 guys in the top 15. I'm like, me? Really? Okay. So it had me up for the fight, and I was ready for it.
You certainly were ready for it. Did anything about his performance in there surprise you?
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be that fast. People bite on my fakes. I was biting on his fakes, and I knew they were coming, and I was still biting on them. So that me off. I get mad at myself. So being the veteran, I knew that I was going to have to rely on veteran skills, and one of the things was making adjustments. They told me to stop playing the outside game and just pressure, and I felt like that started to break them.
I spoke to your corner before your fight earlier this morning, and they talked about how this was a great camp for you, and it felt like you really evolved throughout this process. Would you say the same thing about yourself?
Yeah, I went above and beyond for this camp. My last two fights, I was training primarily for grapplers. It made me a little slower, I felt, with my striking, but I was really strong. So this camp, my whole camp, everything was speed, footwork, sprints, I just wanted to come out and be the vintage version of me that I knew he wasn't going to try to take me down, so I could just go out there and try to paint a picture.
A lot of times when fighters have really tough fights, or sometimes on a loss, they learn a lot. What do you feel like you've learned about yourself after that incredible, great performance, but a very tough performance for you?
With the performance tonight,
Mm-hmm.
that these guys are, he's only 25. These guys are good, and so if I'm a sucker and think that I know it all and then I'm going to stop learning, then I need to stop fighting. But every time I've been knocked down, I've questioned myself in every avenue. I've questioned every coach and challenged them to make me better. And so that's the only reason I'm still here fighting, is that I've been honest with myself, and I owe myself that to grow as a martial artist.
Cub, you always impress every time you come out to the octagon. Where do you go from here?
I don't know. The only thing is I've never fought for a title. That's one thing I'd like to do, and never in any organization coming up, I've never had a title fight. So I think it's about time.
I would agree with that. We'll take a vacation, get some rest, take some Tylenol, and we'll see you soon. Congratulations on an epic performance.
Thank you.
Thanks.